All right, let's dive in. Well, it needs food. Not every itchy dog needs new food. So, one of the first questions pet parents ask me is often the wrong question first. Here's an all too familiar story. A client recently came to me because her dog was struggling with recurring UTIs and chronic itching. And within the first few seconds of our conversation, she asked what I hear all the time. My dog has recurring UTIs and chronically itchy skin. What food should I be feeding? Well, food does play an incredibly important role in your dog's skin health. But here's what I've learned after working with pet parents struggling with chronic itching. Before deciding what to feed your chronically itchy dog, you first need to understand what your dog actually needs. Because if nutrition isn't the biggest priority right now, changing foods may leave you just as frustrated a month from now as you are today and with a still struggling dog. So maybe you've been there. Maybe you've been asking, should I change foods? Should I add a supplement? Should I try another shampoo or another topical treatment? Or could I be solving the wrong problem first? Well, that client, had I just recommended a food, we would have missed what was actually the biggest contributing factor in her dog's skin illness, and her dog would still be struggling. That's exactly what we're going to go through together today. Before we talk about changing foods, before we talk about adding supplements, we have to answer an even more important question. And that question is, what does your dog actually need? So, thank you everyone for joining this week's Thrive Naturally Clarity Conversation. I'm Christine Sten. I'm a certified pet therapeutic nutrition coach and founder of Thrive Naturally Pet Wellness. And I'm also the creator of the Thrive Naturally Skin Wellness System, which is a 3-layer approach to building healthier skin from the inside out, the outside in, and providing targeted support, functional support when extra help is needed. I'm going to pause really quick so that I can share my slides with you. Bear with me one moment. Okay. So last week we collected clues. We didn't diagnose anything. We didn't recommend any supplements. We didn't change any foods. We just became better observers of everything going on in our dog's world, either inside out or outside in, and what targeted support was being provided. And at this point, clients naturally ask me, all right, I got all these notes. Now what do I do with them? Today, you're going to learn how to decide where to begin. You'll learn how to sort your clues and figure out what deserves attention first. Today, you're about to learn is exactly what I do before I ever recommend a new food or a supplement, a shampoo, or even a wellness plan to a client. You can grab the worksheets in the video description below as you're working through these on your own. So, using the client example I used last week, I'll demonstrate how this decision framework actually works. So, the first thing I want to do is understand the patterns. I want to think about the duration, the severity, and the frequency, and any interventions that might have been applied and worked, even if just for a short time. So, reflecting on the clues I collected last week, I'm seeing that this issue for these pet parents' dog has been going on for years, right? She's actively itching every single day and has multiple symptoms happening at the same time. And nothing they seem to try has worked for very long. So, as you're going through these worksheets yourself, don't worry about deciding what to do just yet. The goal at this step is to simply understand the context. Most people read their dog's food label backwards. Now we want to evaluate and look at skin health through an inside out nutrition lens. So, as I've said before, nutrition plays an incredibly important role in skin health. But before we decide whether to change your dog's food, it's important to understand what's already in their bowl. So, in this step, we're simply transferring from the clarity worksheets that we completed last week to this week's decision framework. So, again, from my recent client example, although their dog has been receiving a high quality, high protein rich diet, and don't forget 30% of the protein your dog consumes goes straight to your dog's skin. This dog was consuming two of the top most protein allergies in sensitive dogs. And on top of that, a food sensitivity test from 2 years ago confirmed chicken as a trigger for their dog. Also, the healthy omega-3 fats were missing completely from her diet. And at the same time, omega-6 fats she was receiving through her food was too high. And what this means is that was throwing the omega-3 and the omega-6 balance out of balance. I'm also seeing gaps in key nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that the dog needs to build healthy skin. Those are missing completely from her diet. So at this point, it's natural to want to start asking, is what I'm feeding good or bad food? And maybe start looking for potential replacements already. Not yet. The point at this point, we're really just taking note of the nutritional strengths that you're noticing and taking note of the nutritional gaps that you're noticing. And also taking note of where you might need additional information about certain ingredients. Now, that's also where I have created the dog food decoder guide to really help pet parents evaluate what's in their dog's food bowl and what ingredients to look for. You'll see a QR code on the bottom of the screen here. You can use that to download that dog food decoder guide. So the next step really is to look at skin health from the outside in. One mistake I see all the time is that people think that skin health begins with a shampoo or a topical treatment. I think that healthy skin starts with, wait for it, the skin. Then skin is your dog's largest organ and its first line of defense. So even when nutrition is excellent, the skin still has to deal with pollen and grasses, microbes and dirt and other environmental challenges every single day. So I'm really looking at whether the skin barrier itself is healthy. I'm looking for whether the bathing routine is repairing and maintaining that healthy skin barrier or just soothing it, or worse yet, stripping it. I'm looking at whether environmental exposures could be contributing to the symptoms. And lastly, I'm looking for whether an ongoing maintenance plan is in place as opposed to simply reacting to flare ups. I noticed for this client, their dog's hygiene routine was exceptional. The client was using a very high quality, all natural and emollient rich shampoo that had been doing a really great job of soothing the skin, but only for short periods of time. However, given the duration of time the dog had been experiencing these challenges and the severity and the frequency, I'm also beginning to think that introducing something like microbubble hydrotherapy bathing to remove the debris and toxins that are likely trapped deep within the skin layer might be useful and might be a good opportunity for this dog. The other thing to note there is that those debris and those toxins that are trapped within the skin layer, oftentimes the skin can look at those as though those are a continuing threat themselves. So make sure to join the Thrive Naturally learning community because in future episodes, we're going to be diving into what therapeutic bathing really is and why it's an essential layer of building healthier skin. Finally, the third layer, which is targeted functional support. This is one of the first places that pet parents want to start, but this is where I end. I want to know whether each product is serving a clear purpose. I want to know if it's supporting a specific health signal that we're the most concerned about. Is it filling a nutritional gap? Is it helping to restore some, function that is missing? Or is it simply managing symptoms? I also look for things like overlap. Sometimes dogs are taking several products that are all trying to accomplish the same thing, while another area might be completely missed or overlooked. The thing to note here is that my goal isn't to use more products. My goal is to use the right support for the right reason at the right time. This client's dog had been given a wide variety of targeted support supplements over time, but none of the ones I reviewed in her history seemed to be aligned with restoring her proper immune function or regulating inflammation. Nothing seemed to be contributing to building greater resilience at the skin layer. Now, let's pause for a second. Let's take a look at everything that we've pulled together so far. Before I recommend anything, I ask myself these questions first. What's standing out? What patterns am I seeing? What health signals seem to be connected? What seems to be creating the biggest burden? What information might we still be missing that we need to go look for? What issues deserve attention first? I also began asking myself things like, how confident is this family in implementing changes on their own? Or are they going to need a little bit more personalized guidance to create better outcomes for their dog? After reviewing this client's dog's health story, what really stood out to me was the need to prioritize inside out nutrition first, eliminating those known protein allergies from the diet and filling those nutritional gaps and the building blocks the dog needs to build and maintain healthy skin. Additionally, putting that together with the duration the illness has been going on, the severity, and the frequency, as well as the significant gaps that I saw in healthy fats, I can also see that we need to prioritize a bit of targeted functional support, at least initially, to help rebalance that inflammatory fat to anti-inflammatory fat ratio. Notice that I haven't recommended a food yet, or a supplement, or shampoo, or a topical treatment. That is intentional because we want to lock in the strategy and the plan first before we start layering products or supplements into the formula. So, the goal of today's conversation really wasn't to diagnose your dog or to tell you exactly what to buy. It was to help you organize your observations and begin thinking about what your dog actually needs. So, really, so that you can build a better action plan to plug those products and supplements and strategies and interventions into. Maybe today you've gotten the clarity that you needed to move forward on your own. If so, that's wonderful. That's exactly why I created these resources to help you along the way. And if you discover along the way that you need a little bit more guidance, I've also provided a guided implementation kit here just to provide you a little extra help along the way. Just use this QR code to submit your request for that kit. Maybe during today's conversation helped you see patterns a little bit more clearly and things that maybe you hadn't noticed, but you realize, gosh, maybe I need a little bit more time to observe and gather more information. And if that's the case, that's great too. I hope you'll continue joining us for these clarity conversations as part of your learning journey. You can use the link on the screen to sign up and stay informed of future topics. Maybe today's biggest realization for you was that there's just simply too many moving parts in this process. There's just too many pieces, and you're tired, you're exhausted, you don't want to keep trying to figure it out all on your own. And if that's where you are, that's exactly why I offer personalized support plans Together, we'll prioritize what matters most for your dog and create a strategy and a plan that's tailored specifically to your dog's unique needs. Just simply use the QR code that's on the screen to schedule a complimentary clarity call with me to get the ball rolling. So, in closing, my goal today wasn't to tell you again what your dog needs. It was to help you understand how to decide what your dog needs because once you know how to think through this situation, you can stop feeling overwhelmed and you feel empowered to help your dog build and maintain healthy skin. During next week's Clarity Conversation Live, I'll show you now how to begin implementing what you've decided to work on first. You can get the link to next week's Clarity Conversation in the video description below. Again, thank you so much for being here and loving your fur babies so much. I hope you give them an extra scritch and cuddle from me tonight. Make sure to be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so that you can get notified of upcoming Thrive Naturally Clarity Conversations, where we're going to keep diving deeper into the skin wellness system, because I really believe that pet parents need more than yet another product recommendation. You need a better plan and a partner who will guide you every step of the way.